Well, it seems that some folks are having some challenges um, practicing self-care while being sheltered in place. I know for most of us, self-care looks like some type of activity that we enjoy that is usually out of the house, or going to a specific place that is usually out of the house. Everything being out of the house, going to get our nails done, going to get a pedicure, going to get a massage, those types of things. So we're having to think very creatively about how to practice self-care while being sheltered in place. Let me be clear that self-care should not stop because we're sheltered in place. It's so very important for our physical and our emotional and our mental well-being. So you still have to practice self-care. For some of us, this might be the first time we even think about practicing self-care. So I want you to know that it is very important that you do so. And self-care is simply you caring for yourself in a way that brings you pleasure, in a way that brings you joy, in a way that decreases your stress, in a way that motivates you and empowers you. And so self-care is still going to be very important, even though we're sheltering in place. Even though we're sheltering in place with other people, self-care can absolutely still be found. We just have to be very creative about how we do that. That could look like, self-care could look like you not worrying. Yes, that's you doing something for yourself. It could look like you speaking your truth. Yep, creative self-care. We're gonna push this. It looks like you saying no to some things. Whatever that looks like, no to anything that you want to say no to. That can look like self-care. Self-care could also look like taking care of your different healths, your emotional health, your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health. That's going to mean the physical health. That's going to mean you eating as right as you can, eating as healthy as you can, you getting some exercise. Your spiritual health is going to find every church just about now is doing something online, or every synagogue, whoever it is that you worship. Almost all of those people and those folks and institutions are doing things online. So you can absolutely still get that. Still get in your meditation. Still read your Bible. Those types of things. Those things can now become a part of your self-care. When I speak about your mental health, there's some of us that have mental health challenges. Those things still need to be tended to. So if you still need alone time, find it. Find it in the bathroom while you're brushing your teeth in the morning. Find it in the basement when nobody's down there. Taking walks around the house can absolutely work as far as you being able to get into your own space. Whatever it is that you need mentally to have happen, you cannot not do those things because we're having to be confined to one space. And of course, your emotional health. That's going to mean you finding, and for some of us, just discovering what brings us joy. What brings us pleasure? I cannot emphasize that enough. For me, it's been, I've done some coloring. Today, I'm going to figure out something to do artistically. I got all these arts and crafts stuff here. I'm going to do some of that. The other day, I cleaned out a closet. I put my boots up. I mean, anything that brings you pleasure and brings you joy can absolutely add to and enhance your emotional well-being. But again, we're going to have to be very creative. The other thing is, I want you to do these things unapologetically. For some people, that might be difficult if you're sheltering in place with family, with your children, with your spouse. Some of that me time that you used to get when they were at school or at home or when you were away, they're going to look at you now like, wait a minute, how you just got one ice cream sandwich? How come we all don't have an ice cream sandwich? It could be that you might have to explain why this is done and the fact that you've always done it or always wanted to do it. But now it's so very important because our mental health in being in leaving this space, this pandemic, in a good place, maybe not great, but in a good place, is going to require us to absolutely hone in on our self-care in a way that's unapologetic. Explain once just to be explained that this is what I have to do, but not explain it any further. Take that long bath, that bath where you can kind of go in there and lock the door and chill. Last night I did that. I turned on some jazz music and turned down the lights and just sat there and I thought a little bit, I read a little bit, taking that time. Any place where you can find alone time or me time, be clear with who you're sheltering with, that's required, whether that's you going in the bathroom, staying in the kitchen, staying in the front part of the house, the back part of the house, it's all going to be so very important that you find time to make this happen. Because what you don't want to do is to have yourself go inward in depression, in anxiety, in worry, because you've not done those things. So again, speaking your truth, not worrying, saying no, tending to your emotional and mental and spiritual and physical health as best you can, and doing all of those things unapologetically. No, oh, I'm sorry, I got to do this. None of that. Absolutely, self-care is going to be important. My name is Angie Harvey, and I want you to know that in order for you to get to the next level, you have to grow to the next level. And this self-care while sheltering in place is absolutely going to help you grow to the next level.